Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. As Jesus came down from the mountain with Peter, James, and John, and approached the other disciples, they saw a large crowd around them, and the scribes arguing with them. Immediately on seeing him, the whole crowd was utterly amazed. They ran to him and greeted him. He asked them, "What are you arguing about with them?" Someone from the crowd answered, "Teacher, I have brought to you my son possessed by a mute spirit. Wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, grinds his teeth, and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive it out, but they were unable to do so." He said to them in reply, "O faithless generation, how long will I be with you? How long will I endure you? Bring him to me." They brought the boy to him. And when he saw him, the spirit immediately threw the boy into convulsions. As he fell to the ground, he began to roll around and foam at the mouth. Then he questioned his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" He replied, "Since childhood. It has often thrown him into fire and into water to kill him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can, everything is possible to one who has faith." Then the boy's father cried out, "I do believe. Help my unbelief." Jesus, on seeing a crowd rapidly gathering, rebuked the unclean spirit and said to it, "Mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter again." Shouting and throwing the boy into convulsions, it came out. He became like a corpse, which caused many to say, "He's dead." But Jesus took him by the hand, raised him, and he stood up. When he entered the house, his disciples asked him in private, "Why could we not drive out the spirit?" He said to them, "This kind can only come out through prayer." The Gospel of the Lord. The book of Sirach and its section today that we see beautifully, it discloses wisdom. However, wisdom, if we're going to have the wisdom of the Lord, cannot come about in good fruit without prayer. Because in wisdom, we are trying to grasp and share with what's godly. To see, to quote St. Paul, to be able to see what is above and not bother with the trivialities of what is below. Prayer becomes so vital, and this is the issue here with the gospel. You can't separate faith from prayer. If you separate them, neither of them are very fruitful. And so, if you can do anything, he says to Jesus, it's that phrase right there is the revelation of the faith that is wanting in this man. He doesn't have it, that he may be close by this encounter. And the if, but if you can, the if reveals the weakness of this guy's faith. He has no trust in Jesus yet. And Jesus goes on to say everything is possible to the one who has faith. That's another good line for us. Now, the father of this boy, now he comes to reality, so he says a prayer. Help my unbelief. Or we could also say, help my lacking faith. Help my faith grow. The Catechism tells us that perseverance in faith is an entirely free gift from God, that God makes for us. God makes it for man. And so faith must be nourished. And this is why we pray. Yes, prayers are valid if in the morning you get up and say, "Hi, God," and you take off for the rest of the day. At least you said, "Hi, God." But those kind of prayers like that, they're good. They put us in touch with the Lord. However, they do not bring us into a depth where we can see and hear God start to speak to us. We see it in the scriptures, even just today, the beautiful section about wisdom in Sirach. The scriptures are part of a prayer life. They should be. And it's where we learn more about the divine and become more fixed in our faith. And of course, prayer. And of course, the most bountiful prayer would be the Holy Mass. But we also have adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. And in adoration, it seems like you're going to spend an hour and nothing happens. But we have no idea about how powerfully God can take care of our interior life. It happens slowly, and that's another aspect of faith, to allow God to meddle in our life. Faith is a free gift, and we can push it away if we want. And if we're not attentive to prayer, if we're not attentive to the Mass, if we're not attentive to adoration, our faith will never grow. These are the things that feed our faith. I may have said it at some other time, but one of the faith things that I realized was one day sitting in front of the Blessed Sacrament in the rectory. I was just staring at the Blessed Sacrament, doing my adoration hour, minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, I thought it was coming from the evil one. It's just a piece of bread. It's just a piece of bread. And all of a sudden, something else hit me. My soul discerns that that is Jesus. Because my soul comes from God. And it soothes my soul. And so we have adoration. And maybe that's something for you to think about in prayer, that although in adoration it looks like just a piece of bread, your soul understands the difference. And if you yield to that, then the Lord can do magnificent things in our interior prayerful life. This can only come through prayer.
Regina Celi, laetare, alleluia.